Hello there, and welcome very, very warmly to the first episode of the FC Westmen podcast. I am Kerke, the owner of FC Westmen, a club in the fantasy football game called Club or Club Game. I have for years been wanting to make a podcast, and the cold fact is that I don't have time to make weekly videos here on this channel like I was planning to, because I have a lot of other stuff. It's not like I'm getting any money for this or it's my job, no. And I would not want it to be my job either, to be honest. Not that I don't like to do it, but the amount of editing that goes onto the videos is just unfortunately quite a lot, and it's more than I like to, or more than I would like to do for basically nothing in return. So then, feel of the hell end of days, another club in this club universe, metaverse. I'm not sure what I should say, because his club is in the metaverse, or will be. I'm not sure if it's ready yet, the club metaverse, because he bought a meta club when last the official sales were open. I have a gold club, so I won't be in the metaverse, but I suppose universe is then a better word for my club. He's in the metaverse, I'm in the just boring universe, as you could say. That's because I'm not actually interested in crypto stuff or NFTs or metaverse. That comes with the meta club, which cost back then about, I believe, 8 times as much as the gold club. So I was ready to put in that 20 quid I put, and because I have no interest in cryptocurrencies or anything like that, it wouldn't have really made any sense for me to get the meta club. Yeah, what was I about to say? In fact, this is the third time I'm recording this first episode here because of audio issues on the first 2 recordings, and it actually is not only a negative thing, because now I for the first time have notes here. I've listened to the first 2 recordings I made, and I made notes here on what I should mention, because I have medication that can cause temporary memory problems, and it was quite a pain at times in the first 2 recordings to try and remember things while I was wanting to say. So now I have this notes list here, notebook here, and actually in the second of the 2 first recordings went into 15 minutes. The first was 10 minutes. I'm talking about, I've only recorded twice this introduction part that I'm now doing here. I've not recorded a whole podcast episode yet. No, I can't record this first one in one bit, because, well, I could if I only recorded it in very, very late July or very early August. It's now 22nd of July here. I'm recording this introduction part, and in fact the second attempt I made at recording this introduction part here, went completely out of the track. So I think another club YouTuber, Kempi Xi, who said on the club Discord that he would want me to go absolutely without any kind of script or anything, because he thinks I would go on to good topics. Well, I think he might have enjoyed that attempt more than this one. But now he's got a mention here, so maybe that'll raise the stakes a bit up for him. But what was that? Why did I suddenly start sounding like Ian McKellen a bit? Ian McKellen is the actor of Gandalf and Magneto in the X-Men films. If they are films. I don't know because I've not actually watched the X-Men films. Well, I have actually. When I was like 5 or 6, I don't know, 7, 8. But so young, I don't remember really much out of it. So I don't know if there are multiple X-Men movies. I suppose there are. I think so. But yeah, this podcast will come out every 3 weeks on Thursday. And starting from the second episode, it will be in 4 segments of about 15 minutes. So it's about an hour, one episode. And today, apart from this introduction part that will probably be about 10 minutes, the second part will be predictions. The third part will be fantasy football, which will be a permanent segment of the podcast. And the last part is inviting Carlo Ancelotti as a guest here. So, yeah. But in future, I only have 2 segments ready, prepared. Like I need 4. Or I can, well, we got the fantasy football. I could extend that up to 30 minutes because I believe I would have enough to talk about for half an hour about it, but it might go into quite some details. So another of the other permanent part I have lined up is Everton, because I'm an Evertonian. So yeah, I will normally talk about Everton, but not today, because I'll talk about each and every Premier League club today while I make the predictions. But please leave a comment on how do you think, no, not how do you, on how you think I should work with these segments. Should I extend the fantasy football to half an hour? Should I perhaps have one segment that will always switch, like sometimes a guest, like one or 3 episodes it's a guest, and then it's something else, other episodes? What kind of a segment would you like to see? So please comment this kind of stuff. But this podcast, in terms of time, will be more content than 1 weekly video that I could have time for. I could not have time for 2 weekly videos like I planned earlier, but 1 weekly video I could have time for, which would be, say, about 10 minutes. That's about 4 weeks in a month. That's about 40 minutes in a month. These come out this podcast come out every 3 weeks, so that's 5 times in 4 months, which is 5 hours in 4 months, and 40 times 4 is 160 minutes, whereas 5 hours is 300 minutes. So it's 140 minutes, 2 hours and 20 minutes more content per 4 months than if I made one weekly video. But of course, in terms of the quantity of videos, it's less. But yeah, I'm checking my list here. I'm not dead. Don't worry. Oh yeah, my. No, actually, I have absolutely nothing left here to say in this introduction. So let's move on. For you listeners, that was a couple of seconds, but for me, time has passed. A week. I believe it was the 22nd day that I recorded the introduction part. Now it's the 31st of July. So let's begin the predictions. And I have a big pile of notes here in front of me. Four paper rocks, in fact. And let's begin with my Premier League predictions. Number 20, Bournemouth. I just think that Scott Parker won't be able to lead them any further than the bottom spot, and I think that indeed Scott Parker will be the first Premier League manager to be sacked this season. So they will be 20th in my opinion. 19th, I have Nottingham Forest. Now, I've seen a lot of people think that they will stay up because they beat, who did they beat? Did they beat Arsenal and Leicester or something like that in the FA Cup? But you know, Borough beat Tottenham and United. It's not like that means they're the best team in the championship and will automatically win the championship now and then will finish 8th in the Premier League. No. Although I absolutely admire Chris Wilder, and I think and utterly hope that he will be able to lead them to promotion this season. And yesterday, their season started. They drew with West Brom 1-1. I also hope that Swansea will come up, and maybe Sheffield United or Cardiff. Probably Norwich will be coming up, but they lost their first match to Cardiff. Actually, both sides got a red card. I watched half of the game, and that's not a very good start for Dean Smith's side. And you know, they'll have a lot of work to do if they're going to dominate the league once again, like they have in the past, well, twice in the last 4 seasons in there. But yeah, back to the Premier League. 19th indeed, Nottingham Forest. I've seen a lot of people say that they will stay up, and I don't know if that's because they signed Lingard or what. I don't think that Steve Cooper will be able to keep them up, and they'll finish 19th. I don't think Steve Cooper will get sacked either, because it was so surprising that he got them promoted last season anyway, in the first place. Although I can't quite understand how you can get Nottingham Forest with that poor looking side promoted, but not with the great looking Swansea side he was managing earlier. He was quite close, but I think he should have really gotten promoted with them. Certainly, and now they are in quite some trouble, Swansea, in fact. Didn't even make the playoffs last season. 18th. Now this is the first really controversial one, because newly promoted sides are really never controversial to say that they are going to go down. 18th, Southampton. Now, they've not really signed anyone good. They've just signed 2 Man City's under 23 players, Romeo Lavia and there was this some other guy they also got from there. Don't remember who it was, but they've been quite close several times, and I think now this time they won't survive it, and they will go down. 17th. Now, I know what you say. Surely it's Fulham already. Surely. But no, it's Leeds. Because they replaced Rafinha and Calvin Phillips with essentially Luis Sinisterra, who, well, he's a good player, but I don't think he's really good enough to replace Rafinha for them to finish any higher than 17th. And then they signed Brendan Aronson. It's really, I looked at his stats. He's an attacking midfielder, and they paid 30 million for him. And I looked at his stats, and I don't see how anyone could value him at 30 million. But we'll see how he does. I don't think very well, but he might prove me wrong. Wouldn't be the first time I've been proven wrong. Then they signed Mark Roca and Tyler Adams, also from the Bundesliga. It looks like Jesse Marsch is looking to bring back former colleagues of his in was he at Leipzig at some point, or was it Salzburg? I don't know. But players from, I think Brendan Aronson was in fact from Salzburg, and Mark Roca and Tyler Adams, were they maybe from, I think one of them, Mark Roca was from Bayern, and Tyler Adams from Leipzig. So a lot of German and Austrian signings. We'll see how they'll do, but I don't think they'll get any higher than 17th. I would not be surprised if they got even relegated, because they're not really good. Obviously, they were very, very close to being relegated last season, but Burnley got there just before them. Now 16th, Fulham. Why? Because, well, I must say, I am a bit biased. How do you say? I don't know why it has never come to my mind to check how the word is pronounced, because I think it's biased, isn't it? I've heard it being said, but I can't recall right now how it's pronounced. I mean, for some reason my brain says biased, but I think it's biased, isn't it? Yeah, I think so. But yeah, because Marco Silva is one of my favorite managers, even though he nearly got us relegated. I'm an Evertonian, as I said at one point already, I believe, if it's the latest recording where I said it, the one that will be in this podcast and you have heard, unless you have skipped all the way here, which I certainly hope you haven't. Although, I mean, it kind of doesn't matter to me, because it's not like I'm getting money for this. But it would be nice that if I record an hour-long podcast, that at least someone would listen to it all the way through. I think I myself will at some point. I won't have time to listen it completely before releasing it. So if there are some kind of issues there, then that is quite unfortunate, because I'm I'm not going to be able to fix them then. And then the first episode will be what it will be, because now it's Sunday, the release is on Thursday, and tomorrow on Monday I'll edit the small bits. There's not much editing I have to do with this, so I won't have an hour to listen to this. However, on Tuesday I'm going to play a football match. Tuesday, did I say Tuesday? Yeah, I think so. Wednesday I'm flying off to another country. Thursday I'm flying back, and that's obviously the release date for the podcast's first episode. So at that point it's late already. Where did I start? So I came into this. I don't know, but what I was going to say is that Marco Silva is one of my favorite managers, and that's why my opinion is a bit biased. And however, I see there's a lot of creativity in the squad, and I think that because of that, and because of Marco Silva's masterclasses, Mitrovic will finally get his proper breakthrough season in the Prem and get at least 15 goals and keep Fulham up. They have, in terms of creativity, at least Harry Wilson and now Andres Pereira from United, and then they have the wingers and fullbacks. I believe they play with a 4-2-3-1 like Silva's Everton played in 1819 and in 1920 until he changed to a 3-4-3 perhaps, what he tried when it seemed inevitable that he's going to get sacked. And yeah, I think that they will stay up. 16th. Fulham. Yeah. 15. Now I think some of you are there like, well, but Everton finished 16th now. Surely they are 15th now. But they are not. Call me biased, anything you want, but Everton are not 15th. But Palace are. Crystal Palace, because Conor Gallagher was quite a player for them last season, and I don't think they've been able to replace him. And they're certainly not going to be able to get him back either. So I think that's going to be the reason why they'll finish 15th. Also, of course, the better players, or some of the better players, not necessarily Eberechi Eze or some others, and the younger stars in whatever. But Zaha, who I think is very overrated, has been for years. It was ridiculous that Crystal Palace demanded, like, what was he, £65 million for him. Probably never got offered anything more than 40, and quite rightly so, because he's never been worth anything more than £40 million. And I think he's just such a skill merchant. I know he had a good season last season, but I don't think he will have a very good season this season, however. Because he's such a skilling merchant. Like, I just don't like players who do so many unnecessary skills. Seriously, what on earth is the point? Just do your couple of little, how can I possibly forget the name of the most simple skill move, so to speak, almost in FIFA terms, unfortunately. I don't like FIFA anymore. I'm a Football Manager player, but no, step over, yeah. Almost said overstep, and then it came to my mind, step over. Just do your couple step overs, but don't do your bloody 10 step overs there, and then not even getting through the player, past the player, through, whatever. Or fake shots. I love fake shots. I do them myself all the time when I play. And but rainbow flicks and that. So that's why I dislike players such as Neymar, Zaha, Saint-Maximin. And unfortunately, Gordon has said, Anthony Gordon of Everton, my favourite club, like I'm now, for some reason, felt the need to say for the third time in this podcast. But he has said that Neymar is his favourite player because he does so many skills. So I certainly hope now that Gordon does not start skilling like that, because that would be terrible for us. His end product was terrible in the first place last season. If he now starts skilling every time he's on the ball this season, he'll not get one single goal contribution, not in the Prem. Then he should go to Ligue 1 and play for PSG. They'll get 35 goal contributions anyway, despite not really even trying. Yeah, and also the fact that Neymar is his favourite player probably also explains why he was diving so much last season at some points. And I think it's quite concerning that both Richarlison, who now of course went to Tottenham, and Gordon both idolise Neymar. And I just hope that Gordon will not face his downfall because of that. Yeah, maybe I should speed up a bit with these predictions now. 14, Brighton. Yeah, it's just they've lost Bissouma and they will lose quite probably Cucurella, and they've not really gotten any great replacements for them. So they will be 14th. Then 13th, Everton. We've signed Ruben Vinagre on loan, Tarkowski on a free, great signing by the way, Dwight McNeil for 20 million in total with all bonuses included. There's been rumours going it's 5 million per year for 4 years, which would be quite a great deal. His debut in a friendly against Dynamo Kiev, he scored 2 goals. So great start already. Hope he will be able to replace James Rodriguez like we are certainly trying to do. As last season we tried to replace him with Andrews Townsend or free transfer. Now he's injured for the first half of the second season. So Dwight McNeil is quite a good signing for that. But I'm a bit concerned because it seems like we are playing with a 5-2-3 at the moment. And we don't have any creative midfielders. We have Allen and Doucouré, and Idris Gueye seems to be coming back from PSG, which I don't like. Ross Barkley has been rumoured, but the Athletic said that we are not interested. Billy Gilmore we are interested in, apparently. I would take him, but he's not quite as creative as I would like one of our midfielders to be. That's why I don't favour that 2 midfielder formation. We were going for Eriksen and Gibbs White. Surely they were not going to play in a 5-2-3. Maybe our first plan was 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3, but then when we never got those attacking midfielders, we changed to 5-2-3, which we are now been playing for most of the preseason. And I think Calvert-Lewin will score quite a few goals if Dwight McNeil, Anthony Gordon, Mikalenko and Patterson can deliver. And hopefully some midfielders as well, occasionally, although there is not one creative midfielder. 12, Wolverhampton. Nothing to say really. 11, Brentford. Now I've seen quite some people say that Brentford will be excuse me that Brentford would be going down. But in my eyes, apart from losing Eriksen, they've only strengthened their squad. And whereas Wolves, Everton, Brighton, Palace, these kind of teams, I don't think they can really challenge them in terms of league position now. 10, Aston Villa. Again, nothing to say really. 9 Newcastle. Nothing specific to say really either. 8 Leicester. Still nothing to really comment on. 7 West Ham. Still nothing. I don't know, there's been 4 teams in a row that I have really nothing to say on, but maybe that can compensate for the 20 minutes I spent almost on the first half of the table. I was planning for this whole prediction segment to be about 20 minutes, but I suppose a few minutes over it won't damage anything. 6 Arsenal. Now here we go. I have a lot to say about Arsenal. Gabriel Jesus. I've seen, a lot of people seem to be thinking, oh, he'll score a lot of goals there. But you know what? He's underperformed his XG by 19 goals at Man City. He did that in the Premier League and in all competitions. I'm not sure if it's the Premier League or all competitions, but that's his statistics there. So I don't think he'll score more than 12 goals in the league. Certainly not any more than 12 non-penalty goals in the league for Arsenal. But however, they will still finish 6th because they have a lot of other players who can score goals, like Ødegaard, Saka, Smith Rowe. Can't think who the left winger would be. Martinelli. So that's why I think that Jesus can work there, as long as Arteta doesn't tell everyone to just pass to Jesus, he will score. No. But as a whole, in a front four, Jesus can work like we've seen at City. He's worked in a front threes. But of course, City is City, Arsenal is Arsenal. City have De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, Mahrez. I hate to say, but Grealish, Foden. Lots of players. Top class, world class chance creators. And he scored 17 league goals one season at City. But I think, that is not a disaster that they got Jesus. All of that price is quite disastrous, but I think overall their attack is quite decent. And that's why a 12-goal striker is enough for them. 5. Manchester United. Now, I've seen many people say that Arsenal would finish above United, but I don't think so, because I think United have looked quite promising in pre-season, and albeit I don't like basing my predictions on pre-season. It's Ten Hag, and it's just, there's so many quality players that I can't see them finishing below Arsenal, but I also can't see them finishing top 4. So I think 5th place is the only place where they can finish, really. 4. Spurs. Now, they've got a lot of signings, and they were 4th last season. I think they'll be very, very closely fighting with Chelsea or the 3rd place. But it ultimately doesn't matter whether they're 3rd or 4th, does it? Apart from like a couple million more in competition prize money. So that naturally means Chelsea are 3rd. I think Sterling was a cracking signing for them. I think it's kind of gone under radar how good Sterling actually is. And especially now at Chelsea, when he will have even bigger a role than at City. I think he can score even 15 goals there now. And they have Mount, Havertz. Werner seems to be going on loan, so I don't know if they then will play Havertz as a false nine. Seems so. Havertz as a false nine with Sterling and Mount behind him, I think, now, because they are looking for so many centre backs. They've got Koulibaly. They were trying for Koundé, for Nathan Ake, and they have Thiago Silva. They have Chalobah. I don't know, but they have. I think they will still keep on playing with the 3-4-2-1. Anyway, so they are third. Second are Liverpool. Lost Mane, obviously. Tried to replace him with Nunez. I don't think there will be a terribly tight title race. I think the City will win at least by 5 points. But I think Liverpool will still keep their second spot. But yeah, that obviously means City are first. It seems like this prediction segment is actually becoming quite a lot longer than I was planning it to, so maybe I'll have to cut down the fantasy football segment a bit this time, or the Carlo Ancelotti bit, or then I'll just make the first episode a bit longer. I don't know. But I think the top scorer of Prem will be either Erling Haaland, Mohamed Salah, Harry Kane, or Son Heung-min. One of the four. I think that City will do the double and will win Champions League now. But other contenders for UCL are, I think, Real Madrid, of course, the reigning champions. Then Bayern, but I'm not convinced by Nagelsmann's Bayern. Same with Galtier's PSG. I think they will easily win their leagues, but I don't see either of them winning the Champions League yet anyway. I think that Galtier at PSG is not a bad appointment, but it's not at the right time. I think he should have been appointed when players like Messi, Neymar are leaving and they have to rebuild, because that's what Galtier is known for, rebuilding from nothing. He's not known as a great manager of big players or as a serial winner. He won League One with Lille, but Lille was not a very great team, like in terms of players. They finished, I believe, 10th last season after winning the League One the season before. So we'll see. I think he'll easily win the league, but I don't see them challenging for the Champions League, however, not yet. Other contenders are Liverpool and Chelsea, but I just think the City are the most likely ones to win it now. FA Cup, I think Chelsea will win, and the League Cup, I think now, this is quite controversial, but I think that Spurs will win it. So that means unless Liverpool finish third in the UCL group, they won't win anything apart from the Community Shield they grabbed already. But then Europa League, I think United will win. Serie A, Inter. La Liga, I think I'm a bit concerned, but I think that Real Madrid will win it again. But obviously, Ancelotti has only won one of each of the top 5 leagues. He's never won any of them twice. And Barcelona have obviously gotten a great pile of signings with their dirty money this summer. So I'm not going to pretend like Barcelona can't win. I was almost tempted to even put Barcelona as the winners of the league, but I have to support my man Ancelotti and put Real Madrid there. Bundesliga Bayern, Ligue 1 PSG, or Paris Saint-Germain, and World Cup. I think Spain will win it. That's it for the prediction segment. That was almost half an hour. So next up, fantasy football. Let's take a bit of a break. Oh, I will. You won't, unless YouTube sneaks some ads in. Well. Let me just fix my chair and I'm back. Now, let's start off FPL, shall we? My team for game week 1 is Edison in goal, Cancelo, Romero, Zinchenko and Digne. In defense, Harvey Barnes, Odegaard, Mount, Son and Anthony Gordon. In midfield, and Erling Haaland. In attack. On the bench I've got Areola, Reece James, Mitrovic and Sam Greenwood. Now, I've got a bit of advice here for you. My team name, by the way, is FC Gordo Lamps, which comes from the names of Anthony Gordon and Frank Lampard. A very, very creative name, isn't it? But now, take my advice with a pinch of salt, because I finished last season at 1.4 million, or top 17% in FPL overall. So decide for yourself whether you listen to my advice or not. I mean, I hope you will listen to it through this podcast, but like whether you take my advice or not. So let's start off with goalkeepers. I think safe bets for a keeper are Edison at 5.5, Alisson at 5.5 and Mendy at 5 million. And then risky but cheaper options. Areola 4.5, Pickford 4.5 and Sanchez 4.5. I mean, I think my personal opinion is that you should always have one of those 3 safe bet goalkeepers, because they cost so how do you say? So few more. No, that does not make any sense. But the gap between the safe bets and the risky cheap options is actually only 1 million, or even 500,000 only if you get Mendy. So in my opinion, you should always have Edison, Alisson or Mendy in your team, whether you start them or not. Defenders, safe bets, Cancelo at 7, Reece James 6 and Alexander-Arnold at 7.5 million. And then your dark horses are Zinchenko at 5, especially if it is like I think and hope, for his own sake, that he'll play at midfield. And if that same happens, there's also Tierney at 5 million, who would then be a starter, without a doubt, if Zinchenko is midfield. So I would not recommend at the start getting Tierney, but if Arsenal play Zinchenko as midfielder, then get Tierney in at 5 million only. That's quite cheap. And also Digne at 5 million is the last one. I think Zinchenko is almost a must-have of those. Only 5 million. I think he can grow a lot in value this season, in FPL value especially. Midfield, safe bets, De Bruyne 12, Son 12 and Salah 13 million. The risky but cheap options, Harvey Barnes 7, Odegaard 6.5 and Gordon 5.5 million. Forwards or attackers, strikers, safe bets, Kane and Haaland both 11.5 million. And dark horses, Calvert-Lewin 8, Mitrovic 6.5 and Daka 6. Patson Daka, I think Daka will get more playing time now in the league than last season. Vardy is growing old, and I think Daka's playing time will only grow as the season goes on. Then I have two players that you should actually avoid, and that's Gabriel Jesus at 8 million. Now his ownership is like 67%. 2 of the 3 FPL managers own him, which I think is just absurdly ridiculous. Because he's not that good. And at 8 million, I can guarantee you that you won't regret getting DCL over Jesus. Because I think DCL will score more goals than Jesus unless DCL gets injured for months again like last season. But yeah, Jesus, I can't see him scoring more than 12 goals. Unless he takes pens, then he might score a couple more. But the other one is Bruno Fernandes at 10 million. That's just, I mean, he could, Ten Hag could possibly revive his form, but just at 10 million, no, at the start, it's not worth it when you have no assurance of his form, so to speak. Then let's move on to club, the very game that my dear FC Westmen are in, and who I paid £20 for game week 1. Now, this is taking in consideration that La Liga and Serie A will start later than Premier League, Bundesliga, and Ligue 1. Now, I don't know if I said in the introduction that we would have only Premier League at the start, and then we could unlock other top 5 leagues. But plans have changed, and now we'll have all Premier League teams and some selected Champions League teams from the other leagues, such as yeah, excuse me for that. What was I about to say? Did that sneeze take my memory out? Yeah. Teams such as Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern, PSG, Milan, Inter Milan, Juventus. Such teams at least are in there and available and will score points for us when they play. So my club team for the first game week. Now there will be unlimited transfers at least for the first 2 weeks. So in goal, Neuer, but him I'll transfer out right after the first game week for a certain other keeper in another league that I won't reveal now, just because I don't want to yet. In defense, De Ligt, whom I also will transfer out right after the first game week. Then Romero from Tottenham, who is also in my FPL, as is Cancelo, who is also in my club team, and Reece James, last but not least in my back four. Now, of course, we are limited to play 4-3-3 with one defensive midfielder and two centre midfielders in this time, for now anyway. I don't know how long for now. And my knowledge is quite centered around the Premier League, which is why my team is quite strongly Premier League centered also. But I am experimenting with some other leagues here, as you've seen, 2 Bundesliga players already in the defensive department. Midfield, as a defensive mid, I have Højbjerg from Tottenham. He's actually marked in as a centre midfielder, so I'll take a minus 25% in his score, because I'm confident that Tottenham will get a clean sheet against Southampton, who I believe will go down this season. So defensive mids are more, their scores are more like defender scores, more dependent on clean sheets than attacking returns than centre midfielders. Centre midfielders are Goretzka and Maddison, who I will transfer out, both of them, after the first week as well. Right wing I have Leon Bailey. Left wing Sterling, who I will also transfer out right after the first week. And then as a striker, the player who I announced on Sunday, I will announce in fact in 45 minutes now from recording. In 45 minutes I have a scheduled tweet on FC Westmen account that we have signed Lionel Messi. Yes, we will. And yeah, League 1 obviously is the 5th league in terms of UEFA coefficiency rankings, so his points will be quite heavily deducted, but I hope that Galtier will now make him absolutely stat-packed League 1 and he'll get me decent points. On my bench, Areola, Godfrey, Van de Beek, Valverde and Gordon. Now, Valverde is the only player from La Liga and Serie A that I will have from game week 1, because obviously they don't start in game week 1, they start only in game week 2. So Valverde, I'll still take him already because I think Højbjerg, Goretzka and Maddison will all be playing, so there will be no need to replace any of them. And if there is, then maybe Van de Beek plays, maybe. But I think that's it for the fantasy football part. Let's keep moving. Now I am back, or should I say we are back, because I got here now Carlo Ancelotti. Welcome, Carlo.
Thank you. It's a big pleasure to be here in my first ever podcast.
I'm happy to hear that. Congratulations, by the way, on your 4th Champions League win, and also becoming the first to win 4 Champions Leagues and also the first to win all top 5 leagues.
Well, it's just what I have won on the way. In my long career, you're inevitable to win some trophies, and well, I'm obviously happy with them, but I don't like to be cocky.
Yeah, I know you are very humble and the greatest manager of all time, without any doubts now.
Well, let's not exaggerate. I think I'm not even the top five actually.
Well, let's leave it at that. Um, did you have to plan some kind of really special tactics for the fourth UCL final? You have obviously experimented from 5 UCL finals overall. So, did you make some special tweaks for the final?
Yes, I leave the smallest details for the shadows, but I had a look and we had to mark, of course, Salah, Mane, and not focus too much on their false nine because it's very important not to get dragged away by the false nine, or the wingers will come in behind your defense and score. Of course, we had Thibaut Courtois who played a very, very good game, but the plan was really just to try and keep it a close game, and then take our chances when we get it, and that's what happened. We kept our defense tight, and when we finally got our chance, you're always, as we all know, you are always going to get some chances in a match. Especially if you're such a top team as Real Madrid, we are going to get some chances in every game. So if you take them and keep your defense tight, then you will probably win. So that was it really.
Well, that's more simple than I thought. Carlo, what's your favorite pizza?
Well, I'm a margarita man. I only eat margarita. Well, not only, but mostly. If I do my pizza myself, then I always do margarita. But if I'm in a restaurant, I might take something on it, like maybe, well, definitely not pineapple, huh?
Yeah, I agree with you there. I also eat margaritas. Mostly. In fact, only margaritas. But I hate pineapples. On pizza or not on pizza, I hate pineapples.
Good man, good man. Not even Italian, but from the heart you seem like Italian.
I've never been to Italy actually. Why do you think, Carlo, that you've only won one of each 5 leagues you won?
Well, I don't know, really, because I was almost 10 years at Milan, but we only won one league title, but two Champions League, so it's quite interesting. I don't know, really. Maybe it's so that my tactics are not really for the long term, really, almost so that they are more suited for knockout matches, for singular matches, big occasions, than a 38 game season. And it's maybe suits my tactics better, knockout format than a league format, which is why I have won so many cups and Champions Leagues.
Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense. I've never thought of it. But yeah, probably. Why did you leave Everton? As I'm an Evertonian, of course.
Well, when I came to Everton, Mr. Moshiri and Ken Wright, they promised me that I would every summer have a similar budget to the 70 million budget I had in my first summer. But then, of course, we finished 10th, which in itself already frustrated me because we were second after 15 games and we were looking like we should finish top 6 or at very least top 7, get Conference League. But then we finished 10th. That frustrated me already. But then they told me that we have a £2 million budget. And how do you make a team that finished 10th with 2 millions, a team that would finish top 6? You don't. And then the Real Madrid job got available and I got contacted. So I went there because you can never turn down Real Madrid, especially if you have a 2 million budget at a club that finished 10th.
Yeah, I absolutely understand. I don't understand why any Evertonian would be angry at you, really, because it's really a sensible choice for you to go to Madrid. Is there a possibility you, or maybe Davide, could come back one day to Everton?
Well, maybe if, I lose my job at Madrid and Everton job is available when I am available and they offer me good wages again and also good budget this time again, and maybe it's possible. Yeah, never say never. And Davide, yes, Davide liked Everton a lot and I don't know why he could not come back if. And when he becomes a head coach, then he definitely could come back to Everton or go back to Everton. I'm not at Everton, so it's not coming easy.
Yeah, I would absolutely love to see either or both of you to come back. Just one last thing, Carlo. I had someone called Phil request that you'd sing a bit of Final Countdown.
Oh, I love singing, but what? I really only remember the chorus of Final Countdown.
Well, you can sing only the chorus. What if I give you some beat with a flute here? I have a flute here, so.
Oh yes, that was great. That would be great. Yes, let's start. The final countdown. Yeah. The final countdown. The final countdown. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Carlo, for coming here. It was an honor to have you here.
Yes, it was absolutely a pleasure to be on my first podcast. Now I think I will go on another podcast sometime because I really enjoyed it, even if it was only 10 minutes.
Bye now, Carlo.
Ciao.
Thank you for anyone who has come this far and listened this all, or skipped all the way through here, or skipped 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15, 20, 25. But thank you for anyone who has listened even a second to this podcast. This is it all for now. The next episode will come in 3 weeks on Thursday again. Not really actually in 3 weeks, but after 3 weeks, because it's every 3 weeks on Thursday that the podcast comes out. This first episode came at 4:30 p.m. UK time, but the next episode will all come at 5:30 p.m. so 1 hour later than this first episode. But thank you for listening. Bye.